beneath the newborn sky, a thin veil of mist drifts across the serrated skyline. The wind strikes the rock, and for a heartbeat seems to breathe. In that breath of the mountain, the Greeks placed an invisible palace, Olympus, the dwelling of the gods, not carved from marble but from story, not measured in columns but in thunder. From the summit of Myticus, almost 3,000 meters high, the world opens like an amphitheater, and above it, in the mind's eye, another amphitheater, celestial. There Zeus lifts the thunderbolt, Athena plots wars and wisdom, and Apollo tunes the lyre of time. Our journey begins there, not merely toward a mountain, but toward the heart of a civilization that projected its divinities onto Greece's crown and drove its hopes like iron into stone. Mount Olympus is Greece's highest massif, its Myticus peak reaching 2,917 meters, an altitude that, for the ancients, put the clouds on doorkeeper duty. Straddling Macedonia and Thessaly and facing the Thamaic Gulf, the mountain served as both geographic landmark and mythic axis. For sailors, its ridges were a compass. For poets, a rostrum. For believers, a ladder. In Homer and Hesiod, Olympus ceases to be a mere summit and becomes the supreme metropolis of a world governed by gods with human passions, traveling ceaselessly between heaven's firmness and the dust of Greek roads. If we sketch a timeline, the founding of Olympus does not come from a formal charter like Rome's, but from a tacit pact among poets, singers, and communities. In the 8th-7th centuries BCE, oral tradition settles into verse. The Iliad and the Odyssey pin the gods home to the map, while Hesiod's Theogony orders the divine genealogy. There, Olympus becomes council and capital. The gods receive addresses, functions, hierarchies, and humans receive a language for fate. No wonder the Muses, daughters of memory, have abodes on Olympus. Memory is the invisible architect of that city. At the mountain's foot lies a terrestrial counterweight, Dion, the Macedonians' sacred settlement, a whole city of sanctuaries dedicated to Zeus and the Muses. Here, in the plain that always sees the crests, people offered sacrifices, staged festivals, commemorated royal victories, and sought divine favor for campaigns, harvests, and sea voyages. Dion thus became the earthly mirror of Olympus. Below, the altars, above, the thrones, below the theater, above, the celestial song, below the smoke of sacrifice, above, cloud. The peak of Olympus, as a civilizational symbol, overlaps with the Greek world's maturity. In the archaic and classical periods, the polis asserts itself. Athens raises the Parthenon. Sparta sharpens its discipline. Corinth negotiates the seas. And at Olympia, in the Peloponnese, not on Olympus, athletes run for Zeus's glory. In the north, Macedonian kings, Philip II, Alexander, appeal to the same pantheon, invoking the Olympians before great battles. At Dion, festivals in honor of Zeus and the Muses strengthen religious and cultural cohesion in a Macedonia preparing to step beyond the Balkans and embrace the world. This is the age when Olympus commands the imagination. The gods arbitrate tragedies, judge speeches, and witness oaths sworn by Zeus Olympios. What sort of society places its divine capital on a peak? One that turns geography into grammar. Temple and marketplace, gymnasium and harbor, theater and tavern. Each is a declension of the same sentence. Humans seek meaning, and meaning ascends. Greek art, from red figure pottery to bronze sculpture, does more than depict gods. It translates them into human gestures. A pensive Athena, a hurrying Hermes, a laughing Dionysus with a cup in hand. Philosophy, from Thales to Aristotle, sets questions in motion. Medicine searches for balance. Mathematics drafts the cosmos in lines and ratios. In all this, Olympus acts as a cultural imprint, a sacred brand legitimizing truths, laws, armies, and hopes. Step for a moment into an ordinary day of Olympus. At dawn in the foothill villages, priests prepare offerings, incense, warm bread, new wine. Between temples, merchants lay out ceramics, oil and olives, musical instruments, textiles from the islands. Children race with strings, soldiers drill in courtyards, and elders recall lightning splitting the sky on a summer night, a sign Zeus had listened. In Dion's theater, tragedies and comedies stage. In the mountain's shadow, the humans struggle with fate, hybris, the need for measure, the punishment of those who forget they are mortal. The city breathes sacred and profane alike. Above it all, Olympus presides, a granite dome over a cathedral of stories. Beyond ritual, Olympus is an archive of symbols. In the Iliad, gods ascend and descend, sometimes to tilt a battlefield's scales, sometimes to pursue their own feuds. That constant traffic between sky and soil asserts a Greek truth. The divine is not distant, it is near, involved, passionate. Hence, altars to Zeus crown mountaintops, dot cities, and stand by field edges. Hence, an oath sworn by Olympus invokes not only a heavenly witness, but the nearness of penalty. Hence, offerings to the Muses open poems, each verse a small ladder toward the great summit. Yet no capital endures forever, not even one of light. Olympus's decline is not the fall of a mountain, but the retreat of the gods from public life's center. Hellenistic philosophy, Stoics, Epicureans, first tempers mythic narrative, turning attention toward ethics, interiority, atoms. Rome then conquers and reinterprets. Jupiter dons Zeus, Minerva takes Athena, pantheons overlap, temples multiply. Finally, Christianity shifts the paradigm. The one God dwells not on a peak but everywhere, not in thunder, but in word. In the 4th and 5th centuries, imperial edicts suppress public pagan cults. Altars go cold, sanctuaries change hands, and Olympus gradually becomes legendary decor rather than the architecture of power. And still, retreat is not disappearance, but metamorphosis. Olympus enters Byzantine and Western letters, strides through the Renaissance as a symbol of classical harmony, returns in Romanticism as the metaphor of natural sublimity. In modern times, it becomes national park, biosphere reserve, and object of study for botanists, geologists, and travelers. Hikers tread carefully way-marked paths. On the map's margin, the guides mark the peaks: Myticus, Scolio, Stephanie, Zeus's throne. The mountain remains, yet the invisible city has moved inside us, into the way we describe storms, the way we fear lightning, the way we dream of ordering chaos. Consider the economy of Olympus, how belief becomes infrastructure. The Olympian cult sustained a network of temples, priests, craftsmen, artists, athletes, and musicians. Festivals drew pilgrims and with them merchants. Trade routes brought incense from the east, wines from the islands, oil from Attica, ceramics from Corinth. Even without a town hall at the summit, Olympus functioned as a city. Taxes in offerings, councils as oracles and assemblies, official communiques as decrees carved in stone. In Dion, paved streets, baths, theaters, and mosaic-floored houses showed how the sacred descends into daily life, turning farmers into pilgrims and pilgrims into citizens of a shared world. Of course there were tensions. Who speaks for the gods? The priest or the poet, the oracle or the general? What does it mean when lightning strikes a temple, wrath or weather? The Greeks slowly learned to hold myth and reason together, to consult the oracle and survey the roads, to sing to the muses and calculate eclipses. That productive tension generated the beauty of their civilization, a continuous dance between rock and idea. When we speak of Olympus's collapse, it is tempting to picture falling walls. But Olympus had no walls. It had words. Words do not collapse, they change. In place of Zeus, another name. In place of the altar, the pulpit. In place of tragedy, the sermon. Yet on stormy nights, people still stare upward with the same alloy of fear and fascination. Olympus's legacy is not just a corpus of tales. It is our reflex to seek meaning in heights, to climb in order to understand, to see from above in order to arrange the chaos. Today, as you ascend toward Mythicas and pause to catch your breath, you may feel the old double vibration, geology and mythology. Layers of limestone carved by time, layers of story laid down by centuries of singers. The mountain is an open book, each ridge a chapter. Stephanie, Zeus's throne. Scolio, the sky's edge. Prionia, the gate. Below you, Thessaly's plains. Far off, the sea. Within you still, the invisible city. Olympus is no longer a religion's capital, but it remains the capital of a feeling, that between human and heaven, a ladder exists. Each ascent repeats the ancient Greek gesture, not merely athletic but spiritual. We set our boot on a ledge of stone and, unawares, take another step into the story. Thus runs the history of the city Olympus, founded in verse, consolidated in ritual, expanded through art and commerce, challenged by philosophy, transformed by new faiths, rediscovered by hikers and scholars. It did not fall, it was rewritten. It did not vanish, it diffused into language, literature, and the way we imagine order. When we descend the paths and re-enter the noise of our age, we may carry with us Olympus's keenest gift, measure. Measure between daring and humility, ambition and its limits, hybris and balance. The true capital of the gods is not only above the clouds, it is in how we keep our promises, in how we rise after we fall, in how, with each step, we climb.